Margs Voice podcast, now available on most major podcasting applications, apparently. My name is Duggernaut. It's my turn to do the intro this fortnight because I do the short straw. Let my friends introduce themselves. The boys.
Hi, we're the boys.
I'm a big, beautiful boy. I'm a BBB.
What's your name, BBB?
My name is Scootish.
Nice. I'm TB, and
I'm Jyggy. What up?
We've got an exciting show for you this week. We'll be talking this 2 weeks in this fortnight. We'll be talking about the 9th generation of video game consoles, the Switch Pro, the future of video games, and we have an exciting secret news segment for everyone to enjoy. So let's get to it.
That's hot. That's
I
exciting.
actually wrote down notes and ruined it 5 times.
That was a good intro, Doug. I
Thank
appreciate
you.
it.
That was Doug did a good job. Jyggy,
What up?
I'm not impressed with your part of the introduction.
Needs
What
improvement.
did you want me to do?
I think TB and we brought like something really fun and exciting to Doug's energy, and you kind of just brought milk toast, and that who wants milk toast?
What's
Yeah,
milk
people
toast?
are all about beans on toast anymore.
It's kind of, I mean, like, do I even need to say it? Like,
It's got a Q in it.
Come on,
Is that
That's how
Canadian?
cool it is.
They have bags
I don't-
filled with milk.
Jyggy?
yeah,
It's
and then you just
okay,
throw some bread
just-
in the
just
bag.
do-
Milk toast in a bag.
Just do better, okay? All right, Jyggy. Like, come on, come on,
Yes.
Jyggy.
It sounds delicious.
Oh,
Everyone
Doug,
loves
I'm really
fluffy bread.
sorry about his attitude during your intro.
I know.
thought
Well,
you
he
did a great
counted
job.
down the music, which I couldn't hear, so he really needs to get
Look,
his act
look.
together.
I'm gonna
I
figure
know.
out how to do it. All right, you gotta
Okay,
relax.
sure. Jyggy, surely it couldn't be as simple as pressing a button.
Yeah.
Look.
That's great. Oh, that's insane.
Fine.
Oh, wait. Oh, that's crazy. Wait.
That's my raid sound. I just thought something was happening.
Doug, did you... Oh, Doug, you heard that though.
I did hear
Yeah.
it. So
It was incredible.
Oh, but wait, I thought music is only heard by one person.
no, you saw the fear in my eyes from the
You
sound
know,
of my ears.
Scoot, you were making fun of
that's weird.
producers before. I got a lot on my plate here. Like we gotta set up this show. It took us at least 20 minutes. I mean, come on here. Anyway, welcome to
We're
Margs of
having
the
a good
Boys.
time,
I'll
man.
do a better intro. Welcome to Margs of the Boys. This week,
A
like
better
Doug
intro?
said, no, not a better intro than Doug. I meant
You saying my intro
a
was
better
bad?
version of my intro.
What the fuck, dude?
Bruh.
He just says he wants.
Jyggy just
he wants to
digging
bring a
himself
better
I was
intro.
just trying to
Trying
move it. I was just
completely
trying to move it.
upstage our host
I
for the
was
day.
just trying
the
to
hell?
move us into the conversation that will get me
Jesus,
off of the
Jyggy.
fire. All right, I'm trying
Not
to get
redo
off
for
the
his
fire.
man. All right. Consoles and what happens to them when they approach their deaths.
Okay.
They get remade into
Yeah,
they get a new one.
smaller, sleeker designs, except for handhelds. They get bigger for some reason.
Well, DS Lite was smaller.
By like a little
And
bit, but
Everything was
Yeah,
smaller than
yeah.
the original Game Boy.
The DS Lite was smaller. I was more talking,
and-
but like then you got the DSi XL, and everyone I
Oh,
knew
yeah.
and
jumped to
Scoot,
that.
what are you talking about? Consoles get smaller. Let's talk about the PS5. This literal like tank.
No.
It's
Well,
huge,
the PS5
dude.
is the start. So when the PS5 is like nearing its like lifespan, they'll release a small boy.
The Pro is
It's like-
huge. The PS4 Pro, massive. It's a
But
big boy.
But they also did the slim.
True.
yeah,
But they didn't do a PS4 Pro Slim.
Yeah.
No.
they did not
Yeah.
do a PS4 Pro Slim. That's true.
Well,
That's fair.
We were talking about console sizes here, but I think the big thing here is that we want to talk about the evolution of each console, how they get a pro version or a
they
plus
get like
version.
a re-release.
It's like
A
a
modern
refresh.
console.
That's more powerful.
Yeah,
usually.
usually halfway
yeah.
to towards the end of their lifespan. Like I think I'm gonna start with the PS4 Pro here, and because that is something actually I bought. Scootish was with
Right.
me
Yep.
when I bought it, from
I was there.
GameStop.
Well, they
Um,
added,
was
what was
cool.
it? Just another pancake layer to it, so it was a
Yeah.
triple tier.
Yeah,
Yeah,
triple
it was double
decker.
tier.
but that was
Excellent.
what,
Yeah,
like
the
only
Baconator.
2 years ago,
Yeah.
or 3 years ago? How long ago was it?
No, dude, that was
That was
like
like 5 years ago.
No
that was
way.
like juniors.
Oh,
Dude, that was
at
like junior
least,
senior
yeah.
year,
Well,
bro.
2020 didn't happen.
Wow.
So
Yeah.
That was like junior
Wow.
senior year.
I
I think it was Monster Hunter World. Monster Hunter World just came out.
Yeah, Monster. I bought it specifically because this is how sad I am.
So that would have been like
2017.
what, 2016, 2017?
I bought it
2017.
specifically to
Yeah,
play Monster Hunter World in higher than 20 FPS. That is the
Yep.
yeah. That was the
remember
big
that.
Good
That's why I
World at
did that.
E3 2017.
Yep, because I'm that so 2017. So it was 4 years ago, yeah. But the way I think about it is when they release these consoles, these consoles, what is it that you guys expect from a refresh of a console that you want to buy it? I just explained kind of my reason for it was that I can play games that are already released on it, usually at higher frame rates or at higher resolutions. But then we're going to look at something like Nintendo here, where we're going to look at the new 3DS. And the new 3DS did not really advertise that it ran games better. It did in some cases, but in reality, it really didn't. And they released like 5 exclusive games for it. So that was my first question then, I guess, for TB. Did you buy a Pro console?
Exclusive. But yeah, I basically get them every time.
The Pro consoles? Or the
Yep.
next?
I didn't get the Xbox One
X.
whatever it was called. I actually didn't have an Xbox One until the Slim came out, and then I just got the Slim. But the PS4 I traded mine in because it was on its last legs anyway. Like, it was having trouble running and stuff. That was probably due to proper or improper care of it, and it lived through like 3 moves because I was hopping apartment to apartment around that time.
Yeah, dude, if I can just piggyback real quick, hopping from apartment to apartment kills your electronics.
Yeah.
Like, oh my god, I have moved 2 apartments and I can feel the wear and tear on my computer at this point.
Yep.
Like, sorry, I don't mean to interrupt you, but like, damn, I just like that's a real thing that happens to consoles for whatever reason. And I know you definitely like package them the way you should package them, and I take care of my consoles too. Like, but like, damn, it just breaks everything.
Doug. Which is funny because I used to backpack around my Xbox 360 to like my friend's house every weekend, and it was fine for the longest time.
I used to fly cross country with my PS4 in a giant backpack so I could play Destiny like with my friends still during the week.
I'm just gonna talk
ridiculous.
about this. Just you know.
Yeah, it's got a handle on it.
Dude,
no, my PS4, I had to take apart my PS4 and tape over the sensor that ejects the disc because it would just eject discs whenever it wanted to. So now I have to like pause and hit eject disc in the software in order to eject anymore.
Oh my god.
Yeah, my PS4 it's on its last legs. I never bought the Pro though, so I guess it's my fault.
I feel like that is just I mean Sony is kind of different when it comes to it than even like looking at Nintendo. I mean, we'll eventually get to like Nintendo and about console portability and like how most consoles, especially Nintendo, kind of set it up where they kind of expected you to bring your console places. Not only just with the GameCube, obviously, but even, you know, the NES, it was meant to just bring your NES over to your friend's house. That was a big deal.
It was a toy.
Yeah.
Like, it was a toy.
Where now it's a computer. Now it's a very expensive computer black box that sits under your desk or under your TV. So one of the big things that I wanted to talk about and I wanted to just bring up here is the console iterations or console like refreshes have been a thing since the NES. I don't know if Doug, you might have one because I know you're a collector, but do you have a top loader? Do you have an NES top loader?
Well, I have a Famicom top loader, but like I was going to bring that up because you know I'm the old guy here. I try to bring up like old consoles and stuff, but like even from the beginning there were like these expansion ports. Like the Famicom had the Famicom disk system. Like the N64 had a disk system. Like the SNES has an extra port on the back that I don't think ever eventually got used because we were talking about it on the stream earlier. The Nintendo PlayStation obviously never worked out and resulted in very bad blood between Sony and Philips and Nintendo. So like it's always been a thing. You can look at the Sega consoles had the Tower of Power, they had the Sega CD, they had all sorts of stuff. So it's always been a thing. Mobile stuff like Game Boy went to Game Boy Pocket, went to Game Boy Color. We got the Game Boy Advance went into the Game Boy Advance SP. Like, and we talked about DSi, DSi XL, all this stuff. Like it's always been a thing.
But it didn't really start. I'm sorry.
I was just thinking about the SP the other day, and man, I loved the SP.
The
SP is a
SP
great
was
piece of kit.
fire.
Yeah.
The SP was the Game Boy Advance.
See, in
Except
my
it
mind,
didn't have a headphone jack.
My mind is the
unfortunately.
Advance. My mind, the Advance was the Game Boy Advance for me. It was just like the feeling of it. But what I was gonna say was those were all variations. You know, the Wii Mini, which is a Canadian exclusive. They didn't actually do anything with the GameCube other than that they were supposed they did like the Game Boy Advance player, obviously. And then if you don't know, there's a there's an Ethernet port, right?
There's the
Right
broadband
here.
port, yeah.
Yeah, they had a lot of
And then
expansion
the
ports.
completely unused third hole as well.
Oh yeah, this well, there's that one.
I don't think that one ever got a port for it.
Yeah,
But yeah, I mean, they
it
were
has
ready.
something on it, but
Yeah, it's got a
Gone-
port there, but I don't
Gone
think
is the day of external expansion, and now it's just a complete re-release, and you have to buy the new one.
and
Well,
that
they
was
rush
my
and rush and rush to push out like a piece of hardware to stay competitive, to stay out there, because like you know,
Oh,
you
and
don't
it
feel
really
like we're
burned
ready.
them this time.
Yeah, we don't feel like we're
this
ready for the
console generation.
PS5.
my
There's no
question
software.
was what was the first one what was the first console, and this is something I actually don't know, so maybe you guys know, maybe we don't know, but what was the first one that was the same console, just a hardware upgrade? Because I don't think that
Pocket.
started until
Game Boy Pocket.
Was that a hardware upgrade? Like
Yeah.
that?
Yeah.
Really?
It was smaller.
Yeah.
No,
and it
but I'm
used different
talking
batteries.
like I'm talking that it like legit. I know it used a different battery because
Game Boy Color.
Okay, yeah, Game Boy Color then, because there was some non-backward
We're
compatible
splitting
software
hairs
for it.
there.
You're right. So yeah, Game Boy Color was, but was Game Boy Color released as a separate console, like a new generation?
Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Okay,
Yeah.
so that was a new generation.
Well, like
though. That
the
was
only
just
reason
backwards
it could
compatible.
exist was because Pokemon revitalized the Game Boy. Like it wasn't tanking, but it was definitely
Yeah.
on the decline, and then Pokemon right back up. Like
Yeah.
whenever the Game Boy
Yeah.
released, it was on obsolete hardware, and
Oh,
now
the 360 Elite as well. Yeah.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
that's
Yeah,
what
the
I
Elite.
was thinking, was that the 360 Elite was the first, like, it's the same
On-
console, but its hardware is
Oh.
better. That's what I mean, because
No,
No, I
on
don't think it
home
even
console
was.
really,
TV,
I think it was just a different color and a bigger hard drive. I don't think the insides were any
No,
different.
it definitely was
and
a better
and it was
console.
HDMI
did.
compatible, and
Oh,
uh,
okay, never mind.
and
I thought
it
okay.
was Wi-Fi compatible.
It was
I
just a
don't
USB
think
thing.
it could.
Was
I think
it?
the
Okay.
biggest
Mhm. I have one.
why I fell for was that the Xbox 360 was a better console than the PS3.
Yeah.
I that's absolutely the biggest lie I fell for
because
in the
wasn't
gaming. No, I'm sorry. I bought an Ouya. That's the biggest lie. I fell for. I apologize.
Well, hardware wise,
I don't know. Xbox 360 and PS3 was like peak competition. They were both on their A game at that point.
Well, it was all like politics, basically. Like the 360, I
Yeah.
think, launched a little sooner, and it was at a cheaper price point, and so I think they got a lot more third-party stuff going on. And then PS3 also had a completely different architecture, so like you couldn't very easily like
Well,
program for both. Essentially, it was
the-
super annoying to make games for the PS3.
The PS3 was super difficult to develop for, and the PS3 didn't, in my opinion, did not come back until the Slim. Once
Yeah,
the Slim
that's when I
hit,
bought it.
all of a sudden, I remember I got a PS3. I was like, you know what?
A big
I'm
one?
a kid.
Like the
I have
60-pound one.
$300. I'm gonna go buy a Slim right
Oh,
now.
okay.
Why not?
All right, yeah.
Mhm.
And I got Uncharted. I got it a bundle with Uncharted 3. I played through Uncharted 3. Then I played Uncharted 2 and Uncharted 1. I was like, oh my god, that was awesome. There's no way their other games are like that good. Like the PS3 just has that, and that's it. I played through Sly Cooper. I played through Ratchet and Clank. I played through so many games, and I was just like, oh my god, the Xbox has absolutely nothing. Because I'm
Hey,
like, Gears of
I-
War and Halo. That was it.
I played Gears of War and Halo for years.
So did I. King TB. So did I. So did I. But
But yeah, there were a lot better single player experiences on PlayStation 3 for sure.
But so it really did not pick up this iteration. I mean, if we're gonna talk about iterations of like just adapted refreshes, Nintendo was the king on their handhelds. Like we already
Nintendo has
talked
always
about.
been- like
Yeah.
honestly though, like I think Nintendo definitely is like has always been doing it. Like
Mhm.
whether or not it's like an add-on or like a new console. Like I think it's the reason why Rob has 2 colors in like Smash Brothers, right? Like his two, like in America, his main colors are different than his main colors in Japan because of like how the Famicom or the SNES looked. Like they've been doing it like non-stop, and like no one else realized, oh, we can make money from just releasing the same goddamn thing, until I'm gonna argue the PlayStation 2, because like the PS2 came in that ridiculous giant book-looking thing, and then they made they made the slim
one with a little flap.
Yeah, they made a small one with a little flap, which is a stupid design because like a little kid who doesn't know how to open it might rip it in half on Christmas. And then he doesn't have a Christmas present. Who's that little boy? I don't know. Let's just name him Jackson for. Let's just name him Jackson for the story. But like, I don't know. My name is Jackson, by the way, in case you guys don't actually know my name.
The lore.
The lore. Yeah, I ruined my PS2 on Christmas. It still works without the top flap. Everyone should know that.
You just see the disc spinning.
You just put like a toothpick in the little sensor and you're fine.
Yeah. That's all you needed to do. Yeah, but then Xbox realized, oh, we can make money if we just release like implemented Wi-Fi, something every console should have at that point.
Yeah, I think PS3 did have it, didn't they?
PS3 had it. I think the Wii had it.
The Wii had Wi-Fi, yeah. Yep. We launched with Wi-Fi.
The DS had it.
It's true. Yeah.
And then the Xbox 360 is like, you need to use Ethernet cable or give us money.
Yeah, run a big cable through your house.
You also got to remember, this is
I certainly did run a big cable through my house too.
I mean, but you also got to remember, this is back in the day, and we can do a whole other episode on this, but back then, internet, like playing games with your friends on the internet, was free on Sony and free on Nintendo, but you had to pay for Xbox Gold.
Yeah.
But I got stuff though. So I was like, I'm okay with it.
With Gold?
Yeah, they pioneered it, like with the original
they did.
Xbox.
Everybody adapted
Xbox Live.
Everybody adapted Xbox Live. But I mean, that's a whole other thing we can discuss.
Yeah.
But going back to the handhelds,
definitely its own separate episode. So I don't want to spend like time talking about it because we're gonna ruin that episode.
Yeah. And I mean, they did. That was an undercutting. Like they're both now making you pay for it anyway. So.
Everyone's making you pay for it.
Yeah.
But in this is where I like to always think about it. When it comes to handhelds, Nintendo was kind of, no matter what, always king, but Nintendo did not have any competition. Like we went over the Game Boy Advanced line where it ended with the Micro, and then we didn't really discuss this, but the DS was the DS Lite, the DSi, then we got the 3DS, then we got the 3DS XL, then we get the 3DS
XL as well.
Oh wait, which one? Oh, the DSi.
DSi
XL. Yeah, you're right. Then we had the new 3DS, and as well as the new 3DS XL. So
and then the 2DS
and the new
2DS,
2DS XL, new 2DS XL. Yeah. We had everything.
Yeah. But it's one of those things where they, if I'm gonna look at it as from a specs perspective, where you could not play specific games on it. We're gonna do the DS with we're gonna bundle the DS with the DS Lite because there was no they both had GBA compatible. Then we had the DSi, which did not have exclusives other than for DSiWare, which we could talk about.
There was one game that was a DSi game.
Really?
Yeah, it was some photo game. I don't know.
Oh, probably using the gimmick camera.
Yeah, it was definitely a gimmick.
Yeah. There's camera games.
And then we can talk.
There's a Tingle game that's Japan only. That's DSiWare. That's nowhere now. You can't emulate a DSi. Nobody wrote an emulator for that, so the camera just breaks.
No one
it.
wants an emulator for that.
I mean, you could probably get it on there.
I do.
You can probably load it onto a DSi. It's just you can't. There's no way to get a capture card.
If I could sideload it, I do have the ROM.
There's no DSi capture card right now. There's no DSi capture card. There's no DS Lite capture card. There's only the 3DS, and then there's the
original
the original DS Fat. But that was kind of where hardware wise, yes, technically, I'm pretty sure they did a big jump in. They did a big jump in screen, and they did a big jump in processing from the DS to the DS Lite, if I'm correct. But then the eye made them look like toys, like NESs. They made them look like nothing, if I'm correct. That was kind of the big thing.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, and they also looked a little smudgy with the bigger
Yeah.
screens because like it's like a 240p screen or something like that on the bottom.
Did you
And,
did you
tiny.
guys Doug, did you buy all of them?
I had the light, and then I didn't have another one until the 3DS XL probably. Like the light was such a good piece of kit. Like I didn't need to upgrade. I didn't feel like.
I had them all. I had a DS, a light, an IXL, a 3DS, a 3DS XL, and I think that was it.
See, I had the DS, but then I never upgraded until the 3DS, like the normal size 3DS, and then between 3DS and new 3DS XL and new 3DS,
You look
I
beautiful.
ended up
Doug.
having like
Thank
6 or 7 3DSs by the end of the lifespan.
Wow.
Like
I
it
might
was
be up there
insane.
with 3DS now
Yeah.
because I mean it came out when I finally had a job, so
Yeah.
I could
Same.
sort of upgrade as
And
we
there were
went.
so many like cool, different, custom,
Mhm.
limited edition, whatever.
Yeah, I would go
So I'm
for the
just like,
limited editions for
man,
sure.
I've got to get that.
So
And they were like affordable
they were
comparatively.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was a big thing for me was so I had the DS. My sister had the DS too. We both had DS Fats. She had a blue one. Like they made a blue, like navy blue Nintendo DS Fat, and it's sick.
Yep.
And then I did not get the DS Lite. I might be the I was the only one out of all my friends that did not have a DS Lite. I had the silver
same.
DS Fat. And then I got the my sister got the IXL, and then I got the 3DS, the 3DS XL, the new 3DS, the new 3DS XL, a capture card 3DS. Like it was like.
Well, speaking of no competition, are we going to bring up the PlayStation Vita?
I was gonna. Now there's what, 2 of them, 3 of them?
There's
there's
the
like
Vita
there's 4.
Go.
What?
There's the
No, are you talking about the PSP?
yeah, there's the
The
PSP.
PSP Go is the thing.
No,
That's
but
not a
there's the
Vita.
PSP 2000.
Well, there was another Vita
dude.
that had. No, I'm thinking of the Go. The Go didn't have a disc slot in it. It was digital only.
No, there's 4 iterations of the Vita, right? There was the PSP.
No,
the PSP
Go
Go
is different. The PSP and the Vita are different things.
Yeah, but
He's
it's
right.
the same. It's
He's
the
right.
same thing.
I forgot
though.
the PSP.
Like
No,
It is
there's-
not the same thing.
no,
It is
no,
not the same thing. One uses
It's-
cartridges, one uses UMDs.
It's 2 different generations of Sony handhelds.
Yeah, Sony handhelds
mechanical
they had 2, right?
Spinning disc in a handheld.
Yeah.
Which is wild.
The PSP was wild.
There was the PSP, then there was the PSP 2000, and then there was the PSP
and
Go.
a 3000, I think.
Wait,
and
there was
the
a
Go.
3000?
I think there might have been a 3000.
Yeah.
I'm
And then there's
Googling.
the PSP Vita, and then the
There was
PSP
a
Vita Go.
3000.
Yeah, I think I have a 3000.
I have a 2000, and it's because of Star Wars
I-
Battlefront Rogue.
I
Leader.
never got on the PSP train.
I got away late when I got a job.
I
was
on
in
it
high
for
school at the
one-
time, and the one kid that had the PSP got bullied, so I'm like, yeah, no.
It's because when I was a kid, and I'm sure you
that's
guys
awesome.
probably like this, but when I was a kid, dude, every game that was on PSP just looked like it was an anime game, or it was really cutesy, or it was like Sackboy from My Little Planet or whatever. So
My Little Planet.
I don't know, whatever.
Little
I-
Big Planet.
Like I have, I think 4 star. Once again, this is me showing how much of a nerd I am. But I think I have like 6 PSP games, and they're all Star Wars games. That's it. They're all
Hey,
Star Wars games.
Do you have any
Resident
movies?
Weeb here. Actually, recently, I bought this like a year ago, right before COVID happened. But I actually bought a PSP for this game and this game only. I have the Kingdom Hearts Special Edition PSP.
sick.
Very
It-
nice.
It's awesome.
Wait,
It's
is that-
awesome.
Is that Birth by Sleep? Is that
Birth by Sleep was the PSP game.
That's a big game for a okay, I'm not gonna stroke Sony's ego here, but that's a big game for a PSP.
That game was crazy.
It's a
Yeah,
big game
yeah.
for a
Because
PSP.
you didn't get one game. You got like 5 games in that one game.
I can't imagine playing that game on a handheld because it is just so much more difficult than the other Kingdom Hearts games.
My thumb strength is insane because of that game.
That was
That's
one of my
crazy.
favorite Kingdom Hearts games. That was
Yeah,
a-
it's
No,
really
it
good.
wasn't. No, it wasn't.
That one
You
was
called me crying.
the only
nights in a row.
because of one boss. I called you crying because of one boss. But the rest of
Oh
it
my
was
you're
great.
an
God,
idiot.
incredible.
And
Once I
can't
learned
figure
that you
out how to
could
beat 'em.
like cheese the entirety of that game, it was over. Anyway.
Oh my god. You pain me.
Oh, I've died. I'm back.
Anyway, it's one of those things where moving on to like if we're talking about like the PS, I had the PS4 and then I had the PS4 Pro. And I only bought the PS4 Pro because they promised, faster graphics, all this stuff. They started marketing it less of it's like they never did that before. Did you guys ever notice that before with especially like with the DSi or even the PSP? Or going back a little bit more, they didn't advertise that it ran games better. They just advertised that it was a new version of the console. It was the better version or the new version.
For the Pro?
They probably did, but I just paid less attention at that time. And marketing also wasn't in the same kind of situation. So like the people that cared, for lack of better term, they probably knew that it had better specs, but there wasn't a like the stigma in the community didn't really like follow specs. They didn't really care. Now when they announce a new game, they could say like 40 million teraflops and then 6 trillion gamers like lose their shit over it. But back in the day, nobody cared.
Those gamer terms have definitely become huge, and I think it's because of how large the PC gaming community has become.
Yeah,
and I don't think
and it leaks across to the consoles.
But that's because PC gaming, and maybe it's because we were younger. We were all younger. But when my dad works for IBM, doxing him. There you go, everybody.
Okay.
But back when I was a kid, the PC, we could play mini clips. I don't really know how expensive it would have been to get like an actual PC that could run a game back then. Back in the late 2000s, even early 2000s.
I could emulate great. That's how I played through most of the Super Nintendo library when I was a kid.
Yeah. But like,
and see, but nobody was really a PC gamer back there, at least like in the mainstream.
Probably before Steam.
Your PC gamers were playing like CS Source or like Quake or like other things that I think most of us were too young to like get on the bandwagon, or didn't have a PC that would run them, or didn't know anything about them. But so our option were these consoles, and a lot of that culture from the PC gaming hadn't leaked its way into our space at that point. So we didn't care how powerful it was. It was just like, it's something new. Cool.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I definitely saw like new is better.
Yep.
I need that so I can be a better person. And that's why I bought things.
Yep.
Now
advertising has worked on you, it sounds like.
Yeah.
I fall for everything, bro. It's like not even a joke. Like you tell me like one thing, I'll go buy it. Like I'm like whatever. Like I don't even have a good example. It's just like if you try to sell me something, I'll fall for it.
I mean, because like again, maybe it was because maybe the computer that we had was just not able, but like the games I played were like Roller Coaster Tycoon and Zoo Tycoon, which are magical games. I don't know if you guys grew up with those, but
or like Sims.
Oh yeah,
Sims, Sim City 2000. Oh my god, like that was a big one for me.
I remember playing Rayman with my dad.
Civilization.
No, Civ wasn't on my list, but
someone's list.
My buddy Seth, it was
I just talked about that today, actually.
Thank you, Phil.
Were you all Warcrafters? Were you all Warcrafters?
I was a World of Warcrafter.
Played a little.
Not even World, just Warcraft, like Warcraft 3 and stuff like that.
Oh,
no, I was too young for that.
Yeah. Huge Warcraft 3 guy.
StarCraft.
I almost got into Diablo 2. One of my buddies from RuneScape was trying to pull me into it, but I'm like, I'll have to ask my mom, and my mom was like, no.
Can I play this game that's named Satan, please, Mom?
Yeah.
It's so funny then that we're saying that PC gaming wasn't part of our childhood, but I guess maybe it's just we're going back to the games. You know, we're going back to the exclusivity. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like Kingdom Hearts was on PS2.
It was like a few games like here and there, and like it was never for me. Like I know there are millions of people that put hundreds of hours into like Sims, and like that's their game, and I respect that and I get that, but I think you would always leave those games and be like, all right, I need to do something that like shows off my skill.
I need a Mario to chew on.
Someone hand me over the controls for Barbie's Dream House.
Oh yeah.
Like you always went back to a console, in my opinion. I don't think you ever stuck with like the PC gaming scene back then.
Yeah.
It wasn't until Counter-Strike, I would say, when I started like truly selling myself to PC gaming, and I was like, this is the rise of PC gaming.
Minecraft.
Half-Life for me,
Minecraft
probably.
for sure.
Minecraft.
I played Half-Life on Xbox through the
I've never
came to
played
PS2
Half-Life
as well. Like it's been around, but yeah.
But
I mean, even StarCraft came to the N64.
yeah, it was like my junior year in high school when I finally built my first PC. Before that, it was like, oh, I have to either go to the public library and use the rented PC for like half an hour to play RuneScape, or I have to hope nobody's on the family PC or something like that. But I finally built my own sometime late in high school, and that's when I finally like got around to PC gaming through like Minecraft and World of Warcraft and other stuff.
But moving forward here, one of the big things is that that I really wanted to. This is a kind of a rough transition, but
we got off topic.
Yeah,
it's fine.
One of the big things that I wanted to
happens.
talk about was the current state of the 9th generation of video game consoles.
God, we're still on the first bullet point. Ugh.
And yeah, and one of the big things that I do want to retrofit in is, yes, I do consider this to be part of the 9th generation of video game consoles. I don't know what you guys do, 8.5, whatever, but the Switch it's here. It's not going anywhere. Nintendo said it's not going anywhere, so we have to include it. So I think 2 of you have PS5s, or is it just one? I don't.
I have a PS5.
I have a PS5.
I do not.
So we're alone, Doug. So my question for you guys as early adapters of the PS5 is why?
Flex.
Beg your pardon?
Honestly,
Why?
I thought I was gonna play more on it, but I haven't. So mostly it's just the flex factor now.
Because my first thing, I don't know about Doug, but my first thing, unlike Nintendo, where I'm a child, and if they put up well, I think there's a famous quote that if somebody puts a cardboard box in front of me that says it can play Mario, I buy it no matter what. Yeah. But it's one of those things where I 100% am planning on waiting until the next refresh, or the smaller refresh, or the slightly more powerful version of the PlayStation 5 once the hype has died down and people stop scalping it.
Well, it's always been exclusives for me, and like Nintendo's got a bigger pile of exclusives because of just how much in-house development effort they put into it. So, I mean, we'll get there, I guess. Like Sony and Xbox, Sony and Microsoft are trying to put stuff on there, but they usually just do that by like acquiring people. But Nintendo's been doing it from the jump. So that's, I think, why they're generally more worthwhile to get day one than other consoles, personally.
It's kind of crazy.
The main reason,
I'm sorry.
The main reason I wanted the PS5 early was for Demon's Souls.
Mm-hmm.
And I still haven't beat it because I've just been busy, but I'll get around to it eventually. But I probably didn't need it early.
Yeah, I mean, you could have found a PS3 and played Demon's Souls, I guess.
No, I have Demon's Souls on my PS3 but I wanted to play the updated version.
Sure, okay.
It's interesting to think about how we're looking, and Scoot and TB, you guys went through this, and people in the chat, people at home, can we do a poll to see how many people in chat have a PS5? But it's one of those things where you guys went through the agony. I heard it was agony and from TB and from other people getting a PS5. Where
I actually got it super easily.
Yeah, Scootish. We don't talk about that.
Your Twitter page was sad to read for a few days, TB.
Yeah, like a month.
For a while.
I'm just interested because I know it was a long time ago. It was 4 years ago, just this last month. But the Nintendo Switch launch, in my opinion, was I think Nintendo's best launch ever, like consistency wise. They had a new video game that came out for it every single month for the like a first or second party game every single month, more or less, for the entire first year that it was available. And some of them were a little weaker than others, but as we can see with, just like TB said, the PlayStation, and I don't even know a person that owns an Xbox. Does anybody know anybody that owns an Xbox?
An Xbox Series X?
Yeah, the new one, no. the Series X. You know somebody who?
Scootish has the Series S.
Do you have one?
Yeah, I have the Series S.
Have you touched it? Have you turned it on?
Yeah.
He uses it as a phone on his TikToks.
Oh, yeah. No, that's the Series S. Do you have a Series X?
No.
Yeah.
But I do know someone who has it.
Okay. Have they turned it on?
Yeah. He plays on it all the time.
Okay. All right. I'm mistaken. I'll be real.
Phil Spencer.
His name's Bob Wolf.
But
Scootish's good friend.
My good friend Bob Wolf.
The PS5 and the new Xbox are brand new, basically. But what current console is not brand new, has been out for 4 years now, is the Nintendo Switch.
Look through. The people listening can't see it, but Doug has like this really cool grip on his Switch.
I got a grip because I'm old.
I have a grip too, bro.
It is certainly starting to show its age.
It feels good on the hand.
See, it's weird to me because the Switch itself, you say it's showing its age, but I'll be real. Freaking the most recent game I played on it, which was Mario 3D World, runs magical. And I know that's a remake of a Wii U game, but even going back, Animal Crossing, which is another game.
But you can say Bowser's Fury runs phenomenal because it does.
It does. I mean, it has some.
It runs really good.
But like, it's one of those things where Nintendo seems to always optimize, especially first party Nintendo. They optimize their games for the console. But
it goes back to one of the arguments from the release of the system itself, where Nintendo favors style over like quality of display.
Yes.
So, but how far does that reach? And when will we be seeing a better Nintendo Switch? A Nintendo Switch XL Pro Plus
Deluxe new.
When does Nintendo cut the cord on that? And when will we see that? Well, they did what was it, a patent that they showed supporting having Switches with a new Samsung OLED display.
It's supposedly being made. There are leaks happening right now from Samsung. And this is a quote from Bloomberg here. Samsung Display Company starts mass production on 7-inch OLED 720p panels, 4K output. The release of more premium version of the Nintendo Switch console with an OLED display with the support for 4K graphics for the holiday of 2021. That's the big
4K. 4K seems like a feat.
So 720 upscaled to 4K.
720 on the display, 4K supposedly out of the onto the TV.
I'm calling cap.
I'm calling the biggest cap. Not real.
I'm calling cap.
Yeah.
It's a phone. It's as powerful as a mobile phone. There's no way it's running 4K.
There's no way. Absolute cap.
I mean, my phone runs 4K. The Note 20 Ultra $1,400 phone. But
my phone runs 4K too.
Yeah. But
12 Pro Max.
No.
Watch your flexing.
The Switch Pro is not going to have this display.
See,
not at all.
I think so. It's a 7-inch screen, so it's a little bit bigger than the current Switch, not by much, but a little bit bigger. But in my mind, the biggest thing is that I'm hoping that that when they say 4K, is that they're giving the option for developers to do it in 4K. But the goal is, I'm hoping at least just 1080p, 60 FPS for every game. That's all I want. That's all I want for anything. That's all I want is 1080p, 60 FPS. I would much rather that. Yeah.
No, that's not happening either.
Yeah, even that is a stretch.
I call cap.
So the question is, and this is where I'm going to open it up for obviously you guys. You guys are already calling cap. But if the Switch comes out, if the Switch Pro new Eye comes out, what are some features that you expect first, and what are features that you want? So I just said I want 1080p 60 FPS. TV, what do you think?
I want. God, I don't know.
It's a good console. It's got everything I want, I think, already.
I want the docking to be less finicky and damaging to the screen.
Here,
but you can already do that with third-party docks.
Just get a screen protector or a different
dock, or a screen protector.
Although I thought the new docks, they fixed that problem. I've never had a problem with my Switch.
I don't have a new dock.
I have a launch.
Oh, okay. Well, then that's different. Yeah, okay.
On launch.
My launch Switch actually broke because some guy slapped it out of my hand on the subway in New York. So I had to get the Pikachu Switch. I cried for a day. All I want, and this isn't even a problem with the Switch. Like
no Joy-Con drift.
Yeah, you took the words right out of my mouth. All my Joy-Cons now have drift, and it's heartbreaking to me. Like I want to get new Joy-Cons, but they're $80. Yeah. I have $10 in the bank right now.
Stimmy on the way, buddy.
I should be getting that fat stimmy in but a few hours. In like 2 hours or so, I should have that stimmy. And I'm excited. But also I think with the Pro, I think it'd be cool if like they eliminated the need for the grip that Doug just had with like grip like Joy-Cons, like different Joy-Cons, kind of like
you can see chat in there.
If you can get like if you can get like a different style of Joy-Con that's
like
like
better ergonomics.
Bigger,
make it bigger. Just make everything bigger. Like I think everything needs to be bigger for the Switch. Because like I get it. It's not. It's made to be portable. It's made to be like at like almost the same size of a phone. I'm with it. I'm there. But we have the Switch Lite for that now. Give us the Pro, where it's like nice and give us some girth, Nintendo.
Yeah,
let's go. We can take it.
Hashtag give us the
last
girth.
Episode. We said it last episode. We were like, Skyward Sword, great new Joy-Cons, gonna get drift. Like it's just so sad how unaddressed this problem is.
I'll tell you what though, those things are my PS5. I can't fucking get them.
True.
Yeah.
Like anywhere.
I can't get them either.
It's interesting that you guys brought up only the Joy-Con, but in my mind, the Joy-Con's the thing they're not going to touch. In my mind,
no, 100%
they're not even going to bother.
That's why it's a dream.
Yeah, like this is what they're touching right here. This little tablet gimmick,
listen,
chunky phone.
We've seen what Nintendo will do. Really, like just look back at the DS and the 3DS upgrades. Everything looks nicer. Everything runs a little bit nicer. But it's not going to be enough to be like, this is better graphics than the PSP. We're not going to be able to say that it's better than any of the competitors. We're not going to be able to.
I could honestly, like on the software side, go for like an update with like a new UI or something because...
Oh my god, yes.
Custom. I want custom. I want some like customization.
Give me folders. to put my games in.
Folders, yes.
Oh, gimme folders.
But that's all software.
And just bring back media apps. You had them on the Wii U. Come on.
Isn't there?
Let me watch Twitch on my Switch.
I'm fine with no media apps.
Is there actually none?
There's YouTube, and that's it.
Yeah.
There's YouTube and Netflix, I believe.
Netflix.
No,
is
no
on
Netflix.
Netflix.
Maybe it's Hulu.
Really?
Yeah,
You
no
would think
Netflix,
you would
no Twitch.
You would think that the Switch would have that.
I am fine with no media apps on the Switch because you don't need them. Like, we are coming to an age.
It's a staple on any device, but I mean, I guess you can make the argument every TV is going to be smart here soon.
Yeah, like I bought a new TV. I have every single streaming app on my TV. I don't need any on my PS5. I have every streaming app on my TV outside. I have every streaming app on my roommate's TV now. I have every streaming app on my phone. I will never need a streaming app on my Switch.
You can't escape the streaming apps.
So I heard
Doug.
I heard that they were working on some sort of new way for the mobile style Switch like Switch thing where you could basically like tap your phone using NFC or whatever to connect it to the Wi-Fi, your hotspot. I heard that was a gimmick that they were working on. I saw that somewhere.
Why?
As like a concept. Well, think of it this way: if you're on the subway or you're out in the park or whatever, you want to play Splatoon 3. Now I could play Splatoon 3 without connecting it to a hotspot like the manual.
Okay.
Way. So I think that was kind of a neat thing that I saw floating around the word pool.
That's a cool idea.
Yeah, I feel like that's built for like people in Japan and people in New York where there's like population density.
Yeah. You know what? Honestly, I like that sounds stupid, but I am thinking about it. Nintendo can only stay on top by connecting gamers.
And they sure don't use the internet to do that.
By that
Absolutely not.
You know exactly where I'm going with this then. By that same token,
new netcode.
The thing that needs to be overhauled then isn't even the Switch, isn't the Joy-Cons, it's the online system. And that's, again, topic for another day. But
yeah, for sure.
In my opinion,
they're finally getting off Windows 98. It's happening. Again, topic for another day, but it's happening.
The main problem of the Nintendo Switch doesn't have anything to do with the hardware or the accessories. I think it's mostly the online. Like if they keep pushing online titles.
Yeah. So I mean, the one thing here, the one thing that I was interested in, I feel like just hones back to maybe it's because we're paying attention, maybe it's because we're just now conditioned to it, but these new improved versions of console, the Pro, the X's, the News, the I's, the whatever it is, that these companies keep coming out. Do you think that they are kind of moving in this direction specifically because we have now been conditioned because of smartphone developers? This is what I wanted to bring out. Every single year, or at least me, I watch the Apple and Samsung press conferences where they come out, and I'm going to hone back to TB saying teraflops and this and that. It's a 20 to 30 minute show where they say this thing is faster by this much, and this is why you should spend $1,200 on it. That is the thing. Do you think that is the reason why that game consoles and game developers are now moving into that because we're conditioned to it?
No, I don't think so. I think really what it is just like knowledge being more and more easily accessible. Because back then we didn't need knowledge. We just needed Xbox better because Jimmy has it. Or we need PS3 good because they have Talking Raccoon. That's all it was. Now it's such a wildly different world, and it's because we have an encyclopedia in our pockets wherever we go.
It's just weird.
It's because of the cell phone.
Yeah, it's weird because it's one of those things where, like, I remember when the PS4 came out, when the PS4 came out, Sony doubled down on the entire flop that was the Xbox Series or the Xbox One launch, where it was like it has to all be online. There's no disc. I remember the E3 where they literally were just like, how to share a game on which they made like 24 hours before, how to share a game on PS4, and they're like,
I love that commercial. It's
amazing.
They should have stuck with their guns.
It was amazing.
They backed down. Microsoft should have stuck with it. Been a digital-only console. That's what the PC is, basically. Like nobody buys discs for that. I don't even have a disc drive.
I don't either.
But like they could have
did at the
actually been
time,
a different device for different people. But no, they buckled under the very
It was
very
too
real
early.
hate that they received.
It was
But
too
they
early.
should have stuck with it. It would have been
to,
interesting.
Because I mean, at that point, like you really had to, in my opinion. Like
You had to.
backing down, I think was inevitable from them. Like, purely just because like we weren't like, yeah, that is the future, and I agree with them.
We're there.
Like, we're here, we're living in it, but we were not ready as a society to just do away with sharing games, to do away with digital, to do away with discs. Like, me not buying a disc or a physical game is still one of the hardest things for me to do.
Same.
And it's because of the case, it's because of the art. I'm getting less and less of a reason to get the case and the art.
Well, especially because it never comes with a manual anymore, or it like includes a QR code to download the manual or something. Like there's no
download the entire
feelies anymore.
game.
Like it's no fun any longer.
See, I like buying physical for the Switch because it's a little card, and I can fit them all in like little pouches in my Switch case.
And you get to lick each one.
Yeah, you get to lick each one. Tastes like licorice mixed with acid.
Yeah, it tastes like make children barf if they try it.
Yeah.
My main point, though, was the fact that back then, the advertising was still PlayStation 4 games, PlayStation 4 experience, Xbox games, stuff like this, where now, and I'm going to bring this up here with the PS5 and with the Xbox, there was always that little undertone of this is powerful console trademark. But this time around, there was a whole, I think, hour-and-a-half video that Sony put out that was like, our drive is this much faster than any other drive. And that was it. I don't remember
it's
the
absolutely
marketing.
for like the PC gaming, like diehards.
No,
because nobody I just want to know, does it play the old game still? Like, is it backwards compatible? Like shorter load times, sure, that'd be great. Maybe I'm a loser for not caring about teraflops or whatever.
And honestly, from like the sweaty PC gamer side of it, it kind of outperforms PC a little bit.
In most cases. I mean, unless you have like a 3090, but...
Well, especially like it's why Apple is so ingrained, because like they put out their own hardware, they design their whole operating system around it, like their iPhone, their MacBooks and stuff. Like it's geared toward the hardware perfectly. So if you put out a console, you're basically saying, here's a computer with the same specs everyone's going to buy. So you can tune it to those specs very, very well. And so it will probably outperform someone who's just like, fiddling with all the dials that they have on their PC if they don't know what they're doing.
Yeah.
All right.
Absolutely.
Last thoughts on the Switch Pro. You going to buy one, Doug?
I don't know. I upgraded to the Animal Crossing one when it came out, so I feel like I did an upgrade semi-recently, so probably not.
Scoot.
I don't know. Yes.
TV.
A goddamn shill.
100%.
This is my launch
still
day
on my
Switch.
launch one.
Yeah, I'm on my launch day one, so it's been really hard for me not to go buy that hot new Mario one. I'm not gonna lie. That one's beautiful.
The red one.
The red.
It comes in red.
Yeah. All right. So our next little thing here, we have to make sure that we wish our good boy TB happy late birthday here. Happy late birthday.
Happy birthday, TB.
TB.
It was last Friday.
Yeah, it was a while back, but definitely happy birthday to TB.
Kind of vault into the question segment. I started us off with a little question. We got our question of the day.
Question of the day.
Oh,
This is one I thought of on the spot a little bit.
New segment.
Okay.
A little bit, like right before we started. So the question of the day, and feel free to participate in chat. If coffee were an RPG consumable item, would it be more of a buff or more of a debuff?
Okay.
What do you guys think?
I think it's a buff.
I'd say buff, but then like when it wears off, maybe you get a short debuff after that.
Yeah, but it also has the like addictive, like properties as well.
Yeah,
Okay,
Fallout
we're going
has like an
crazy
addiction
on this
system.
now. Oh my
Yeah.
god.
I was thinking like you would drink it, it would give you a speed boost or whatever, or maybe like a alertness, but then maybe I don't know, after 30 seconds or 40 or 2 turns or whatever, it would give you a slowdown or like groggy effect.
It's literally in Stardew. Let me see what it does in Stardew Valley.
Ooh.
I would say it would heal, give you speed, and increase your perception. But then after like 2 minutes, you might slow down for a little while, and your perception might not be as big. But the healing properties are there.
So it debuffs you below your original value.
It devalues you for maybe like half the time it values you.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, in Stardew it's all good. It's all buffs.
That's how I see it. Like if we're going, like if we're exploring, like it debuffs you side.
Any video game makers, take our ideas, do it. If you guys are watching on YouTube, leave your what you think in the comments, and same with any of the other platforms here. Sorry.
What do you think the future of gaming is platform-wise, and do you have any thought on Linux as a viable alternative to Windows with stuff like Valve Proton? Well, that's a really interesting question. Let me answer with you. It's not going to change.
Yeah,
and I'll tell you why it's not going to change. Because you, and I'm pointing the camera right now for our audio listeners. Fuck you, audio listeners.
No. We love you.
I'm pointing to you. You guys are the problem. You're the reason why the market isn't going to change, because you keep buying the same crap every single time. It's your fault. As for Linux as a viable alternative to Windows, it's called Ask a Question, not two. Moving on.
Well, okay, I'll chime in on that. I wish Linux were a viable alternative, but you need the install base and you need the support of like Steam needs to like push it a lot harder. Like it exists, but like developers need to develop with it in mind and all this other stuff. So like I wish I could offload off of Windows entirely, but I can't do that, unfortunately. What past features would you like to see return to Pikmin 4?
Are you a Pikmin guy?
I'm not a Pikman myself.
I fucking love
not a
Pikmin.
Pikman.
No, I'm sorry.
I love Pikmin.
I played the first one and I was too intimidated as a child by the time limit that I couldn't continue.
Oh yeah.
Art. That game's art. Love those games.
Well, what past features do you want to see return?
I don't think I want to see any past features return.
It's an entirely new game.
They haven't really gotten rid of any.
Yeah, they haven't gotten rid of anything that that I can even think about. The only thing that like would make sense in Pikmin is open world.
Okay.
Like that's the only thing I can see where like the series is if they're like, oh, Pikmin 4, you ready? But like they haven't gotten rid of anything. They haven't like, oh, I'd like to see the purple and the white Pikmin return in single player. That'd be cool. But there's nothing.
Caves, kind of. I want like enterable cave random dungeons. Maybe those are cool.
Ooh.
The
random dungeons. But honestly,
but, like nothing from Pikmin is left, so nothing's like a past feature.
Yeah, if anything, I'm going on to a future I would love. I really want them to give up the whole you have to leave the surface at night. I want Pikmin to have a survival aspect at night.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. I want
your set up a base.
I think it'd be really cool to build up a survival aspect.
Pikmin becomes Minecraft?
A little bit, but you have to defend from
that would actually be really cool. I just said that and that's actually really dope.
This question I want to actually know from all the people in chat as well here, but this question is, do you think games will be exclusively optimized for the Nintendo Switch Pro if it comes out?
No.
I don't think so either.
Nope.
I think
I
that
don't think so.
I think that they'll do what they did on the new Nintendo 3DS, where like a game like Pokemon will run better, but I do not think that they're going to have a 4K option for Mario Odyssey. Okay, I don't know what.
No, I don't think they're Fretcher.
The the new 3DS did have exclusives.
Yes,
optimized
yeah.
for them.
But they were exclusives, like, for, I think Xenoblade Chronicles ran at like an FPS on that console. But you know, it's like
Probably.
It ran pretty decently on new 3DS XL.
okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
It
mean,
ran okay on the new 3DS XL. It looked like dog shit.
Yeah.
The best way to play it is on the Switch.
I would like
Yeah.
it to, like, if I put in Breath of the Wild ran at 60 FPS on the new on the Switch Pro. That's a dream. That's a dream.
Yeah.
But I don't think that's gonna happen. You know, I'd love it to, but I don't think that's gonna happen.
Moving on. Generally speaking, which console developer do you feel makes the best console refreshers?
Nintendo.
Yeah,
I'd agree with that.
I
I
would
don't have
say
any of the others,
Nintendo
but-
for
It's-
sure.
I like we had a big talk about this, but every console refresher that we talked about, like for those just joining us, Xbox 360 and the Xbox 360 Elite, the Elite had like Wi-Fi integrated into it. The refreshers that are added seem like, to me, things that are like so blatantly obvious that I think they're not adding them on purpose so they can add them later. You know? Like, I don't know
Yeah.
if I'm crazy there. Whereas every Nintendo add-on and edition, I feel like is like something that like genuinely is like, no, I never needed a Nintendo console refresher, but every time that it's added, I'm like, oh, this is nice.
Yeah, I think like the Xbox 360 Slim, PS3 Slim, they kind of worked better because the amount of advancement that was going on during that era, the original consoles just could not keep up with. Where it was just one last like push to like make their console still be viable for like a couple more years, and it was a pretty good upgrade along with like UI overhauls and other stuff like that. So I feel like that was a pretty good one. The PS4 Pro was also like a really big step up, and and it can still run games like today's games very good. You get like
100%.
you get people memeing on the release of Cyberpunk and how buggy it was. On the PS4 Pro, I'm sure it ran fine comparatively, but the big drama was the base edition consoles.
I want to stop you right there, King. I got Cyberpunk on the PS5. That game, I can only give like a 7 out of 10. That's not me grading the game a C. That's me telling you that out of the 10 times I tried to play it, 7 of the times the game crashed.
I didn't even bother. I didn't even bother playing it.
It can't. It cannot do that.
I did not even bother. So I'm actually on TB's side here a little bit, and we talked about Nintendo with their whole refreshes, but in reality, they only would refresh their mobile consoles. The Wii had a downgrade where they got rid of the GameCube edition.
Yeah, they did.
The Wii U didn't have even a chance.
But it was cheaper though.
Yeah.
By like what? Like,
well, they're already
$70?
pretty slim as it is. Like the Wii is a tenth the size of an Xbox 360.
Yeah,
it was cheaper and smaller.
Yeah, where I think Sony actually, in my opinion, Sony is kind of the king of the console refresh like upgrade.
Okay.
I think that as somebody
give you
who
that.
bought a PS2 Slim, it's kind of intense how different it is. And then also, by the time the PS3 was done, the thing was the size of a PS2 original. Like the
Yep.
you know
what?
freaking slider?
How can you say this when the best console refresher was made by Nintendo under the name of the Wii U?
That's not a console.
dare you.
Leaving.
How dare you.
You know,
Get out of here. Let's move on.
Another
Is
dream.
Is this
well.
super far-fetched, but I feel like future consoles will be more easily buildable, moddable to compete with PC gaming? No.
Never happening.
Because again, I'm pointing to the viewers again. The gaming market will never change, and it's your fault because you keep buying it. You keep falling for it. It's your fault. All of your faults.
I'm gonna
No,
bring
and they
up
don't want you to
Bethesda.
void your warranty or anything. Like,
I'm gonna bring up Bethesda
happening.
here. They tried selling you mods. They tried selling you mods to their game. They did that. So I don't think that they're gonna let you modify your hardware. That's always gonna be a niche thing.
The PS5 does have the storage modification, you could add your own M.2 SSD eventually down the line. They just didn't have the software ready for it.
Yeah, but
But that's
I
just
feel like
one piece of
I
it.
feel like what they're talking about though isn't about storage. It's about like, can I put in my new 3090 into my PS5?
Yeah, no.
Like I think that's
gonna
what they're asking, and no,
Just gonna point at that
No,
right
they-
there,
of
TV.
course not.
They're not
because why?
designed.
How then could they sell their $500 3090 to you if you just installed yours?
Though going back to like the first part of this question that we kind of skipped over, what do you see the future of consoles in general
did
to
I
keep
skip-
up with
oh.
PC gaming?
I'm
I
colorblind,
do
shit.
I do see it becoming this kind of leapfrog, like it's started to become, where when they announce new consoles, the hardware is going to be better than what's available on PC, like it was this time around, where then PC immediately hops right back over. So every time a new console comes out, it's going to be better for like a limited amount of time, and then PC is just going to hop right back over. And I do see this leapfrog continuing to extend, but the continual use PC is going to be ahead for more time at a time.
Yeah,
That
like
makes
it might take, I don't know, if it takes a year to catch up for PC, then there's still how long was the PS4 out before the PS5? Like 7 years or something?
Yeah.
8 years? So
7
like
years, yeah.
yeah, so 7 out of 8 years, like the PC would be ahead. But
Well, there
I mean,
might
it's
be
still
like
it's
a
got
just-
time.
PS5 Pro in like 3 or 4 years, where
Yeah.
it'll be a little bit better than our current like graphics
Yeah.
cards or whatever.
That was kind of what
But-
I was thinking. I personally think, at least for Sony and Microsoft, I think that they've officially, I don't know, probably not now, but there will eventually come a time where the generation leap will just end. And we're going to have PlayStation and we're going to have Xbox. And they're going to kind of do this thing where every 4 years, every 5 years, they release a new version, like the Pro, like the whatever, with upgraded specs, slowly upgrading their games. And then what they're going to do is they're just going to say games, specific games can run on this version of the console. So eventually, we're just going to have the PlayStation. It's a PlayStation game, and it can run from first generation PS5s to new PlayStation, whatever. They do that with apps on phones. You can get specific apps that only run on versions of Apple software as well as Android. And eventually, it ages out. Like, you cannot play Pokemon Go on iPhone 4s. There you go. But you can.
So chaotic, and I hope that's not how it happens. But who
Yeah,
knows?
I don't think that's how it will happen.
I don't think there's
I-
going to be
well,
room for
well,
iteration
Nintendo's already
anymore.
sort of asynchronous to the sort of development cycles and console cycles and stuff, because like they didn't the Wii U launched in 2012 or 2013, like at a different way before the PS4 and Xbox One. And then like the Switch came out in 2017, which was way off cycle for the I think Sony and Xbox are always going to keep trying to outdo each other because again, Microsoft backed down and didn't make something that's really appreciably different. It didn't make its sort of, digital box, which is what, they tried to make a TV box is what they advertise it at the most at their reveals of the Xbox One. But if they had, I think maybe we would be on track to them sort of separating and maybe going more asynchronous if it was you buy PS4 for buying discs and having a library on your shelf. You buy, PS5 now, you buy an Xbox if you want, to basically have a PC that you put on your living room. But they didn't do that, and that's not what's happening. So I think it's always going to be Nintendo doing what it wants when it wants, and then the other two fighting it out.
Nintendo's the fun uncle. That's what I've always said. Nintendo's the fun, weird uncle that comes in every once in a while. He's like, "Hey, kids, look at Mario!" And then mom and dad are Xbox and PS PlayStation. And then PC is the weird cousin in the corner who plays Half-Life.
Except this generation, it's like your mom and dad were fighting so much, so you went to go live with your uncle. That's how much the Switch has pulled ahead.
Yeah.
Oh, they've also they've merged their home and mobile markets as well.
Yep,
by discontinuing the 3DS. So
I'm gonna quote Duggernaut here, and I'm gonna say and bring this up here. This is not a competitor to PC gaming. This is a friend that you can take anywhere and then come home and play high-res games on your
if you want
PC.
coverage, if you want to play the most games, get a PC, get a Switch, and like you can pretty much almost play anything except for whatever Microsoft or Sony has paid a ton of money to have as an exclusive.
Kingdom Hearts is even on PC now.
Yep.
March 31st it is.
Wow.
All right, moving on. Last question right here. It's kind of based on something we touched on last episode, but do you think Elder Scrolls 6 will be worth the wait?
Are they working on it?
Elder Scrolls.
Yeah, they announced it. What?
They JPEG'd it.
E3 couple
they
years
announced
ago, last year.
Okay.
They announced
like
it was happening, but they said
like
it's not
okay.
gonna come out until after their spaceship Elder Scrolls game. Like
Skyrim.
it'll be great. It'll be great.
I think it'll be a great game. Will it be the like console defining like jump that Skyrim was? Absolutely not.
No, it will never be that again. Yeah, they'll never get Skyrim again. They're riding that wave.
I think you are fooling yourself. Skyrim came out years ago.
2011.
Yes, and it runs on every device since then.
It can run on Apple Watch.
Holds up. I guarantee you, this game will hold up.
But I'm gonna jump to recent Bethesda games. Fallout 76, Fallout 4. Fallout 4 was supposed to be the next groundbreaking, Skyrim. And it's one of those things where if I remember correctly, that was what 2014, 2013. I don't remember.
Yeah. What else? Doom Eternal.
Doom Eternal. Yeah. Well, I heard that game's great.
Yeah, Doom Eternal was great.
But it's one of those things where
awesome.
I'm interested to see how you follow up officially, because they have made other Elder Scrolls games. The online is massive. I don't know if you guys ever even touched that.
See, but that wasn't Bethesda.
No, well, it was produced by Bethesda. You're right. It
was a different studio.
It's interesting to think about. And I think it's going to be, I'm kind of in the middle. Like, TB and Doug say that it's impossible for them to recreate the magic or come out as it's Skyrim, game of the year by everyone, blown everybody away. My dad was talking about it. He hasn't touched a video game. Like, everybody was talking about Skyrim. And I think the only way that Scootish can be right about this is if Bethesda gives it the time and nourishment that not only the game but the engine needs. They need to focus on it and not rush it out. That's
See, but I think a lot of the appeal and pull to Skyrim was like the memeability. So it's either going to be like too polished where it's like, yeah, it's an amazing game. Okay, I'm done playing this amazing game. I'm done with it. Or it's going to be a crap show that doesn't live up to the hype because they try to give it some of that finickiness that was in Skyrim, and then everybody cancels it because it's awful. Like, there's going to be no in between.
It needs to be heavily moddable as well. Like that, I think, has contributed the most to the longevity of Skyrim.
Yep.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I still remember my first Skyrim playthrough. It was an adventure, It was an adventure on my television. That was crazy.
It was huge. Like you could go anywhere, you could be anyone, and there were a billion things that you could do. Like everyone had a different experience because you couldn't have the same thing twice. Yeah. So we've already got that in a bunch of other games. So how are they going to innovate?
Yeah, true.
All right, well, thank you guys so much for hanging out here. The next Margs with the Boys will be recorded on March 30th. So we got one more episode of this month.
Ooh.
It's going to be great. Thank you, everybody, for listening. If you enjoyed the show, make sure you go listen to our other episodes on Spotify, Apple Music, and other podcasting platforms. And make sure you come on over to the YouTube and give us a like on that video. Thanks, guys, for listening, and we'll see you next time.
See you later.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.